And we are back, and we have a special guest, which makes this a very special episode. I wanted to speak to this guy for a long time. Wanted to pick his brain on a few things. He's one of these up-and-comers. I don't like that word, up-and-coming. He's just one of these guys who are just popping in the scene right now.
On the scene, yeah.
And killing it. And he goes by the name of DXVNDRE.
Yes, sir.
Hip-hop artist. Hip-hop connoisseur. Part of LOC's Avengers.
Hey. Nick Fury, man. Nick
The Hulk of the Avengers, bro.
That's it. It's honored to be here, bro.
So, DXVNDRE, so let everyone know what type of music or what type of style or type of hip-hop do you deliver to your fans?
I try to, touch up on all types of subgenres of the rap, but, I've played close to my roots of the 90s scene.
Yeah.
The golden era, as they say. But, I try keep myself versatile to anything that comes my way or however I'm feeling. But, bro, I'm a big 90s kid.
I love
Born
it.
in the 90s, fucking raised in the 90s,
You got that voice, bro. You got that commanding presence in your voice that really, like, when you hear a track, you'd be like, who the fuck is that guy, bro?
That's it.
Fucking
grimy.
DXVNDRE.
I think the word's grimy.
Got that grimy voice. That's
one thing though, like I feel like when everyone's gonna listen to this, like one thing that captures people's attention is the XV.
Yeah.
So can you explain that to all the listeners?
Yeah, for sure, man. This is actually something I've always wanted to touch up on, to anyone that's listening or anyone out there that's like, bro, what's up with this guy's name? It's not DXVNDRE.
You get that
clarify that. Let's just space out right.
We have DXVNDRE on here.
DXVNDRE. But yeah, so
is that French?
People actually think my name is French, bro. Like they say, "Oh, you from France?" Like, bro, look at me, man. Look at that. No disrespect to French people, but so my name is actually pronounced DXVNDRE. The XV part is like two reasons behind it. So the first reason is to just pay homage to a group that really influenced my style, was Raider Clan. So that's where Denzel Curry actually originated from, and Space Ghost Perp actually started that, and it had artists like Xavier Wolf, heaps of artists that were like built that underground scene in the SoundCloud phase, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back in like 2012. But yeah, so that's the first reason to pay homage to like Raider Clan. And the second reason is XV in Roman numerals is 15, and I feel like that was the age for me that established my manhood, because all the shit I went through, but
and you're wearing a DX shirt as well.
A DX shirt, right? But that I feel like 15 was like a really vital age in my life. So just to incorporate that with my artistry is big to me, you know what I mean?
What happened when you were 15? Did you find music then?
Just a lot of things, bro. Personally, like in my family, but I'll keep that under wraps out of respect for them. So
definitely,
it sounds like a lot of growth.
And I feel like that was the age where I was like, bro, it's time to stop playing around. I look after my little siblings. I'm in a house, bro. Like, I just got to be the man, you know what I mean?
Definitely. So the XV really is just what you look at when you see a title, and it's like that's a stamp.
That's me,
Point in your life.
Right,
It's important.
I actually,
cool.
I touch up on that in a song as well. That's going to be on the tape called Reminiscing Gold. So just keep an ear out.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. One other question I wanted to know, like, Ingleburn, Southwest Sydney.
Yes, sir. 6'5", baby.
Can you just describe to me in a few sentences like the environment?
Environment, man. It's beautiful. It's home, and I'm pretty sure you guys can say that about your hometown too. Where you're raised that, it just has that homely feeling. You look around, you see familiar faces. Yeah. And
so you've been there all your life?
Yeah, my whole life. So I was born in New Zealand, but I came to Australia. I think I was like 1. Wellington, baby.
So North or South Island?
North Island, bro. Of course, fuck yeah, Wellington all day, brother.
Bruh, there you go.
Yes, sir. But
that's cool.
I moved over here when I was like, bro, I don't even think I was 1,
Right.
And we're living in like in a pretty developing part in Ingleburn.
Right.
And we raised up there and just lived there my whole life, bro. I went to school there.
Yeah.
Primary school and high school.
Yeah.
But I actually moved out of the state in 2017.
Okay.
And I came back 2 years ago. 2019, so 2 years later.
So would you? Because I remember we had this conversation. You moved to Queensland, right?
Yeah. Just because my partner was from there.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
like we're doing the whole long distance thing.
Yeah. That's cool.
And
that's cool.
We're just sick of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just thought, I'll go move up to be with her instead of her moving down here first. You know what I mean?
Did you explore the scene up in Queensland?
Yeah, that's actually where the whole music career actually kicked off, bro.
So that's where everything like popped off. Like
that's it, bro. That's where the Proclamation EP was created.
And that was produced by Sino.
Yeah. That was the song by itself, the Proclamation. Yeah, it was produced by my boy Sinos. Shout out him.
Shout out.
But yeah, that whole EP was created in
guys, that EP he dropped, the Proclamation, it debuted at number 3 on iTunes.
Yeah. Surprisingly.
I mean, like
took me off guard.
It would matter if it was 15, right?
Yeah, that's it, bro.
Let's keep the theme going.
It got up to 47 in all genres, but number 3 on the hip hop.
That's
charts,
how I
Fuck
like
on, man.
it just because like I found out about DeAndre through because we both skate and we sort of like
friends,
mutual friends in the Western Sydney skate community. We all huddle up together and we see each other through the park, and they were plugging this dude that went number 3 on iTunes. I didn't know who he was, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So then when I check it, I'm like DXVNDRE. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
and then next thing
DX
you know, it's like I hear his music.
Hey.
I hear his music, and I'm like, yo,
Yeah, man.
Salute, bro.
You know what I mean?
So who's the better skate out of used to?
DeAndre. He's got some tricks in his bag.
So how long you been rapping for, man?
I've always like had a thing for writing since probably like the age of 12, bro.
Yeah.
But actually started taking it seriously when I moved to Queensland because rest in peace, my bro. He passed away. And I think that was just like the crossroad for me, you know what I mean? It just made me reflect on everything. And because like he passed away at such a young age, I was just like, bro, I got so much to offer, but I'm not doing anything with it. So I just thought, fuck it.
So it started off with you just like kicking raps with the boys?
Yeah, bro, it was always in the benders,
just like kick
benders,
freeze.
the drink ups. It was
where
always
starts,
like, Dre, spit song. You
Yeah.
know? But I always rapped at school. Like I was always, like I rapped at the year 12 graduation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool.
That's mad, bro.
Everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, I rapped the year 12 graduation. But
What did you rap? Did you rap in theme, or did you just spit
I
bars?
spat about the whole year, bro.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
It'd be funny if you just randomly just
the
rapping bars.
and just motherfucking this and that. Nah. Kept the G rated. But but I've always been about writing, bro. I'm a big fan of English, bro, in school. So
Yeah.
So you must have been like a creative kid then, right? Like you always did you like drawing when you were younger?
I like to draw, but I'm not good at it. You
But
know
you
what
just
I mean?
did you like just making
I just
things?
like doing shit.
Yeah.
Skating's kind of creative,
Yeah,
like
skating.
flips
So,
and shit.
a lot of individuality with that.
Yeah.
Skating is actually more of an art form.
It's a culture in itself. The skate scene.
Yeah, man. Just I just like to do anything that was creative. You know what I mean? Or
definitely.
try use my energy.
And then
doing
rap
something.
just took it all the way.
Yeah,
for
that's
you, huh?
it, bro. I mean, like I said, I was always around music. Like my old man used to sing,
Okay.
like play guitar. Like nothing seriously. He used
Yeah,
to do it around
but it
the
was
house,
around
bro.
you. It was around
Yeah,
you.
and he used to force me and my older brother to sing with him, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But,
That's cool, man.
So can
That's
you sing
cool.
as well?
Nah. See, I got skipped with that.
Just start
Shout
rapping.
out to all my islanders that can sing, man. I got skipped.
He took
big
the
time,
bars, bro. He got bars, bro. He was like, you know
bro.
what? Don't worry, I got bars.
Yeah,
Be a
so-
mean bass though. that'd
It's
be
all good.
that'd be a level.
So-
Man, I wish I could sing, bro. But yeah, I just always had a thing.
That's
for
cool,
music.
man. And the first song I ever put out was Meta.
Yeah,
Metathor.
Metathor, man.
I was listening to it on the
Metathor was
way here.
First track, yeah.
I was listening to it the way here. Like, how'd you feel like when you who recorded that?
Oh, that was my boy Brandon. That was in Queensland as well, actually. You know, shout out to him if you.
And that was your very first track.
Very first track, bro.
Yeah.
And how did you feel hearing yourself back?
Man, it was good. Like we did that in like one take, bro.
Hey,
One take.
One take. So I mean, like we did the first verse, heard it back. Sweet. Second verse, heard it back.
Home recording as well.
He had like a home studio, but
nice.
it was like set up proper. You know what I mean?
For a
like
first
booth
track,
and all.
man, that
Yeah.
shits on Raph and I's first music, man.
man.
We had a
Bro.
computer mic, which is about $6. So at the time,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
as our pop filter, we put a tissue paper on top.
You gotta
And
make
then
do,
we wrap in the corner.
Yeah.
Literally that room over there. So,
Yeah.
I remember that.
That's
fucking
awesome, bro. That's really cool.
I remember those days. I used to rap in a box, cardboard box.
You gotta make do, man.
You gotta make do,
Stops
bro.
the reverb.
I want
Stops
to
the
like
reverb.
shout outs to the people out there who had struggled with finding and making their makeshift studio at home, man.
100%.
Please comment.
Mattresses,
Let us know what
blankets.
was the worst stuff that you
Bro,
ever did to
rugs.
make your studio work.
That's crazy. And so, how you released Metathor through YouTube, right?
Yeah. Actually through SoundCloud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, started all on SoundCloud just
Yep,
because
yep.
I wasn't too sure on how to do all of that.
Yeah.
Like uploading on the streaming platforms. and all
SoundCloud
that
was the
type of shit.
platform. I feel
Yeah.
like it still is, but Spotify is just that.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
killing shit right now.
It's much more easier to get on Spotify now, eh? Like to,
Definitely.
Yeah,
to
definitely,
make your own
definitely.
mark there.
Sick.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
So SoundCloud was the first platform that you used.
Yeah,
to put out
yeah.
your music.
SoundCloud was where I pretty much released all my single tracks before I actually released the Proclamation EP.
Yeah, it was all leading up to it. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
yeah.
released like a couple more after that.
Yeah, so
Alright,
I think I released 5 singles, I
Yeah.
think, before the actual EP.
Yeah.
But Lord Forgive Me was the first drop after the EP, or first single
Really?
drop. Yeah. Other than our
Yeah,
collabs
yeah,
and
yeah.
that. But yeah,
Yeah.
Lord
So
Forgive Me was
just
the
listening
first.
to all these titles that you're just bringing out, you sound very prolific. You know
Hey,
what I mean?
I'll
Lord
try to be,
forgive me.
bro.
I'm
The
telling you right
proclamation.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
very
it's
biblical.
what I noticed.
Metaphor.
Shout out English.
So like,
Yeah.
how much thought do you put into your title? Because
A
like
lot,
that's
bro.
that's
A
a
lot.
aspect that a lot of musicians in general just like
Yeah,
breeze
yeah.
through.
Yeah, I
Like
get
the
you.
importance of having a good title on your track.
Yeah, that's it. You know, you want to make, like you were saying before, you want to make that impression. You know what I mean? And I feel like the Proclamation was exactly what it meant. Or for me, you know, it's your public standpoint of, you know, explaining who you are. You know, that's the Proclamation is just meant a lot to me. And yeah, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
man.
Proclamation, man. That was the first EP I heard of his.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so rolling off that, man, like with the current climate of let's just focus on one area here, like West Sydney
West
and
Sydney.
music and its current climate. You know, obviously there are so many different things happening. And I feel like you're in this lane, right? You're in this pocket here where you're not necessarily doing what everybody else is doing, but you are sort of like doing it. I don't know. You're doing things your way,
Yeah, yeah.
and I feel like this is such a biased opinion because
hey.
we're bros, but like
Yeah,
you're really
You're part of, like, your own
you're
Avengers
earning
team.
you're earning your keep, not necessarily by you know wanting to please people, but to really stand for the essence and what you really stand for,
100.
and you really stand behind the music that you make.
Yeah.
Because I was having a discussion about you with CJ last night, and we were like, I feel like we haven't heard like the full plethora of DeAndre yet. Like you're giving us a bit,
Yeah.
you're not giving it to us like all yet. Like you're building up to something. Like I feel like
Appreciate
and
that.
that's
Not a
awesome,
Gyarados
bro.
yet. You're still a magic
Hey,
up right
that's
now.
it, bro.
because
Like,
like
we
you
don't know the full potential.
Because like yeah,
power.
from their reactions
Hey,
that no continue Nat, sorry.
Hey, just on that. Sorry, was I just to add on what Elo said,
Yeah.
man. Likewise, man. You speak from experience. Would you say you're like on the early stage of your career, like your
100%.
proper, if you want to call it
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
There's one thing.
No, you go, bro.
sorry.
You go.
No, I was just gonna say I don't know if we we're gonna bring this up. This is something I've been burning to ask, and I don't know. I private messaged you about this. You probably don't remember. It was a while back, and I think this is a great. I want to get your insight because it's just been eating me up. I'm like, I want to know because, damn, like, you're obviously at your starting career. You speak from your experience on the come up. I remember you posted. I know you mentioned Griselda was one of your
Yeah.
inspiration.
100.
You love those guys, man. And correct me if I'm wrong. I remember that you did post an Instagram with a little exchange
Yeah.
from
with,
a particular member.
Yeah. Shout
Yeah.
out the butcher, man.
Is that public knowledge or can I say it? Or is that
Nah, that's all good, bro.
So I don't know if Raf and Don know this, but DeAndre, like, I instantly messaged you when I saw that. But this guy is having exchanges with fucking Benny the Butcher from Griselda Records. Now, I love Griselda, bro.
Yeah,
I'm on the same boat. I'm a 90s hip hop fan. I love Mobb Deep, grimy New York rap. That's my shit. I don't live it, but I like it,
100.
you know?
But you always be a fan. Yeah,
I love that, bro. I love it when you talk like this, bro. I love it when you talk dirty, bro.
The thing is, bro, with Griselda,
That's OnlyFans.
Let's go. Yeah.
That's only. Subscribe. But you know, one thing that I really admired, and one thing that I was like, I sort of like, wait, but then I sort of thought about it, and I really want to get into your mind about this, because you did tease a possible collaboration, and I see that as a massive opportunity. These guys are like growing big as well. But what I really respected about you didn't give out too much, but I don't know if that's paused or if it's completely declined, but you still kept your morals first before the business. Because like for someone, like a lot of rappers are hungry, a lot of people will jump on any opportunity, or like, you know, like they really fiend for these type of connects. And I was trying to get my head around, like, I think if I was speaking to Benny the Butcher, like randomly, he just replied to me. He hasn't yet. I messaged him too, but no response, obviously. And if I was in the talks with him about a collaboration, I would probably do it, even though I don't really rap anymore. And I'm just thinking like, wow, like this guy must have a plan. Like you're in the early stage. There must be a reason. There must be more to this, and I don't know if you're happy to disclose that.
No, we'll talk about it, bro. Yeah, 100. Appreciate that.
Yeah, how did that come about, bro? How did that come about, and how, and if you're open to explain the reason why you didn't go ahead?
Yeah,
with it,
so
man.
I think
I'm fanboying right now. By the way, I'm fanboying.
Nah,
like
hey, bro, it's all good, man. But I think it was he posted up like a picture that said tag an artist that can rap, and I just shared it and like was like, bro, tell this fool that I can rap, you know what I mean? Like as a joke, but like, you know, I didn't think anything of it. And bro, the amount of people that actually tagged me in it was like, oh, what the fuck?
Bro, we got you, bro.
Yeah, shout out to everyone that did that too. But yeah, like a few days later, he messaged me. He's like, "Hey, what's good, bro? You've been putting in work, huh?" I was like, mind you, I woke up like ready for my 9 to 5, bro. I woke up and the first thing I saw was get Benny message you. I was like, "What the fuck, bro?" Like had to open my eyes real quick. I looked at the message and like freaked out, bro. Woke up, my missus was like, "Oh yeah." But yeah, Benny the Butcher just messaged me. But yeah, no, we chopped it up a little bit. He was presenting a mixtape full of like up and coming artists that he thought that was, you know, worthy enough to be on his tape. But you know, we chopped it up and he told me to send a track to, and I sent him Lord Forgive Me, and he fucked with it, and he was like, "Oh, I want to put it on a thing." But there was like a little catch to it, which, you know, it didn't really sit right with me, which is where the morals thing comes in. And he was to say to pay for a slot in the tape. So then I was like, hey, like I was going to quit, bro. I was like, all right, bro, I got you. Fucking send me your cash Zap G or whatever the fuck is called over there. But I thought about it, you know what I mean? And I messaged LOC, you know, the guys are always there for me when it comes to music, bro, or anything in general. I messaged him.
I think
it's fucking Nick Fury right there.
Well, basically, from that conversation, like it just came to a point where DeAndre was just voicing out his opinion and how he felt. Like he really appreciated the fact that somebody that he looks up to actually paid attention to what he's doing, but at the same time, like DeAndre's, he wants to earn that. You know what I mean? 100. And like you know, we're you know what I mean? Like we could, like he could possibly do that. It's his choice. Like, you know, it's regardless whether you're gonna take an opportunity like that. But I feel like he respects him in such a deep level that he'd want to push for, you know, earn that feature, earn that spot. You know what I mean?
You're on his radar.
And so he respectfully said, like, you know, we'll meet again one day. Yeah. You know, and that, I thought that was like the dopest shit, because
bro, if I was an artist on that level and then I offered something to an up and coming artist or someone in your level, and then you actually decline it, that would stand out to me
Yeah.
than anything else.
That speaks
that
volumes.
speaks a lot of
It
volumes.
wasn't
That
more of
speaks
a
volumes,
decline.
bro.
It was more like obviously like respect to the people that would
Yeah,
jump at opportunity
no
like that.
disrespect to anyone that
Nah,
did do
definitely
that.
not.
You know what I mean?
But it's
that's-
like-
yeah,
Just respect.
But like it's a different level where it's like like one day I'm gonna come back and we're
exactly.
gonna make something.
100.
We're gonna make history.
How long did you think about when you your response
It
to
took
that
me
message?
all day, bro.
Because you'd be like,
Because I
Mr.
messaged-
Benny, or do I
yeah,
call him
exactly.
Sir
Yeah,
Butcher
yeah.
or Yo Ben?
We
Sir
talked
Ben.
about it, and he told me about the whole like pay for the slot situation. I was like, oh fuck, yeah. So then I was like, alright, bro.
It is his brand. He's doing. They got the spotlight on them now, so it does. I totally get that, man. That's fucking dope,
no, I
bro.
appreciate
That's
it,
Cool
bro.
story.
commendable as well that you want to do it your own, but it also sort of just solidifies that you're a deal, man. Even though you're at this stage
Thanks,
of your career,
bro.
but you're aware enough to know like now's
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
time.
It's a
yeah.
power. It's
Put
a
in
power
my
move,
work and
man.
then, like,
Like,
build
in
yourself
a
up.
sense,
It's
it
fucking
was just
Appreciate
very
it, bro.
respectable about it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
shout outs to Benny. You'll see.
Hey,
You'll see
shout out to
DeAndre.
Benny, bro.
Yeah, you'll see
Imagine that,
DeAndre.
man. Like probably
Benny
like
the Butch.
5 years down the track, or even 2 years down the track.
I'm
you
telling
just-
you, yeah.
man,
you just cross paths
'Cause you see
again.
it,
It's like,
yeah.
remember that time? Like,
Yeah.
now we're in a better situation. I think I think
Definitely.
it's time to cook something.
That's
Appreciate
cool.
it, bro.
Yeah.
So
I want to meet those guys, man. If I met them, I'd just be like, boom, 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 boom. Some shit.
So I know that like I think before COVID hit, you were on your way to doing a lot of shows.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your live performance? Do you feel like are you comfortable up there? Like when the mic
Yeah.
is in your hand and you're in front of people, like is your heart racing still, or like how, what's your handle like when you're live? Because I haven't seen you live yet.
Yeah.
'Cause unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the first one or the
It's
other
all
one.
good, bro. It's
But-
all good. But I still get nervous.
Yeah.
I always get nervous. But
Yeah.
you know, one thing that my old man told me growing up is being nervous is good.
Of
Keeps
course.
you on your toes.
Of course.
You know, you're more,
100%.
you know, aware of your surroundings. If you're too relaxed, bro, you're just gonna get.
Mm.
But yeah, like I still go through, you know, my nervous stages. But you know, my prep is to just relax. You know what I mean? I mean, like obviously, like I said, like still nervous, aware, but you know, it's just like fuck, bro. This is what I want to do.
Definitely.
This is like a make or break thing. You
Yeah.
know, even if it's the smallest crowd, I always think, fuck, this could
Respect.
be my last show. So I'm just gonna give it all.
That's it, bro.
Exactly, bro.
That's it. And with your release of the proclamation, you did a live show for that, right?
Yeah.
And where was that?
That was at the Valve Bar. That was my first show.
Because that show was like lit, bro. I saw the footage of that shit.
That was
man.
actually like a little competition thing as well.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
called
yeah,
I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like I won a prize to go to US
Yeah, we're
and
talking about
compete
Yeah.
with like the other winners around the state and the country and stuff.
Yeah.
But then they said it was like self-funded.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
asked them, I was like, yeah, I appreciate all like the prize and everything.
Yeah,
But
it's so hard
and
for
my-
somebody like you.
Yeah,
to have,
exactly.
Like, you're just trying to establish yourself.
yeah, exactly.
You gotta like all of us, we all have 9 to 5s, and it's kind of like
yeah, bro.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta understand the point. Sometimes you gotta spend money to
Oh,
100% to make money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%. But
100%.
I feel like at that
You
point
gotta
of
be
his life,
yeah. You gotta make sure everything's aligned.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure it feels right.
Yeah.
Or you can even do the opposite thing and just fuck it, just jump and see what happens.
Yeah, that's
but
it.
you gotta
yeah.
think smart at the same time.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely,
100%.
So okay,
Love it, man. Like, I want to do a sidetrack and
Yeah,
get
yeah.
into your love for wrestling. Because I'm a
yeah.
wrestling fan as myself
Yes,
too.
sir.
First thing
Yes,
I noticed,
sir.
I met you in the studio. Ella was there. Eski
Yeah,
was
yeah.
there. You were wearing an NWO Wolfpack shirt.
Yes, sir.
And I'm like, okay, this guy's an OG. And it's either he just found that shirt and thought it was dope, or he's an
No.
OG wrestling fan.
I know my
So-
shit, bro.
So when did you start your love for wrestling?
Oh, man. Since I can remember. I mean, like, you know, when you have siblings, bro, it's
Probably got
fucking,
suplexed a couple of
If you
times.
are the younger sibling, you are the rag doll, bro. But as soon as you have younger siblings, like, fuck, like, I want to do
Pass
what
down
my
the
older-
knowledge.
yeah. But I mean, like, me and my brothers, like, we had like a big thing for wrestling, bro. Like, had all the wrestling games. Me and my older brother, when I was young, we had like a wrestling collection, bro. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, like, no like no joke, like 100 wrestling toys, bro. And
Yeah.
like 5 different versions of The Rock.
It would have been a big thing because of you relate to who he is in culture.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have
right,
been like,
bro.
oh man, that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Like if I would have seen like a Filipino wrestler out there, the closest thing is Batista. He's like half Filo and half Greek. I'm like, hey, this guy has the Filo flag on his shoulder. I'm like, that's fucking dope.
That's it. But wrestling was always a big thing in my life, bro.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Hey.
316.
You do have a track coming up called 316,
I got a
right?
track called 316 coming up too as well. So
Yeah, man.
be prepared for that, man. It'd be crazy.
Hey, DeAndre, I got a quick
What's up,
question,
bro?
man. Just on the subject of wrestling, I'm gonna sound really
No, you're
ignorant
cool,
because
bro.
out of all the boys, I'm the only one that doesn't follow.
All good.
And I know Raf, LO are big fans. And going back to like how with Griselda they're coming out, they're fans of hip hop.
Yeah,
of
wrestling.
as well. Like they incorporate it. I think Conway and Westside Gun have a group. And their names
Just the fourth row.
two wrestlers that are Nash or something. I'm not sure.
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash and
Kevin Nash. Yeah. So they got a group of just them two. So they've started incorporating wrestling a lot in their imagery and like in their artistry. They mention it quite a lot. And I'm gonna sound ignorant because possibly because I've never seen wrestling being incorporated into hip hop like that. Sort of like when hip hop was just hip hop.
Yeah.
Do you remember when skateboarding was such a white thing? Like when I liked skateboarding was when I grew up with Aussies. They're all surfers, listen to Blink 182. That's when I got into skateboarding. But then Thrasher magazine brought out the Thrasher game and it had a hip hop soundtrack. And then I think when Lupe brought out Kick Push, it kind of brought that market. Like skateboarding suddenly became more of a hip hop thing. I don't know. Is it the same with wrestling? Has there been a movement before as well, or do you feel like that's happening now? And more so for you, is that something you're gonna sort of
I feel like
bring into your music? Or?
Yes and no. I feel like it's always been incorporated with like rap and hip hop. Like there were a few wrestlers that were like heavily into rap. Like I think
if you want to go like mainstream, John Cena started off. His gimmick was a rap gimmick.
Yeah, but John Cena.
Come on,
bro.
Come on,
I think Kurt Angle's a better rapper.
That's like saying Vanilla Ice, Vanilla
But if you want
Ice
to think about
was,
hip hop in wrestling, like you barely have seen it.
Yeah,
The closest thing was probably the No Limit
like in
Soldiers
wrestling.
in WCW back in '99.
And obviously, like you said before, every move that you make, behind it is always a big project.
Yeah, 100. I make sure I always have something,
Calculated.
in the works, bro.
Yeah.
Follow, your best foot. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? Like the bro was saying
Exactly.
before.
Yeah.
But I always make sure if like when I drop something, I always have something to follow through.
Yeah,
You know
definitely.
what I mean? You gotta build
And like, what's your aim with this second solo project of yours? From the proclamation.
that. Yeah.
What do you want to achieve like from that? Is it a more in-depth story on DeAndre?
Yeah.
Because the proclamation was, for my opinion, was you just stating your claim.
Yeah, that's it. That's
experimenting with different sounds, showing
Yeah.
everybody what you can do with your flows, metaphors, bars, and your
it.
skills.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
feel like when we had that discussion earlier, and I was like, what do you want to achieve? And you were like along the lines of talking about who you are,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you're from, like
Exactly right, bro.
So just dig deep, just dig deep into.
Yeah, so like you said with the proclamation, that was pretty much just the my to claim my territory, who I am, not who I am, but
It's your debut.
what I do. Exactly right,
Yeah.
bro. So now that I've stated like who I am, now it's just to get into deeper, like in depth with this new project that I'm about to drop, bro. So yeah, it's just a deeper look into me, my personal experiences.
Can't wait,
Yeah,
bro.
the highs and the lows, bro. But there's always bars intact, brother. So always the bars. But yeah, it's definitely a more personal side of like who I am in this project, 100%.
And can I just quickly say as well, like I know a lot of the tracks that you put out on the proclamation were obviously like very straight hip hop,
Yeah.
like the essence of it. But there was one track that was really like brought everybody together. I felt like and that was That's That.
Yeah.
Now, can you talk a little bit more about like what made you make a song like that and add that, how it fits into the proclamation? Like
I just felt like with all, just stating like the bars and everything. I also wanted to make a song that like I was saying before, like unity. You know what I mean? bringing everyone together, and I just felt like, you know, that was just the perfect song to do it. You know, that's that.
That's
you know
that.
what I mean?
That's it.
Exactly
That's
right.
Because when I hear that, I can just picture it in my mind. It's you and the Oys.
Exactly right.
Drinks,
And
you know what I mean?
you know, anyone can do that as well. You know, you can just play it in the background. You know, with your family, your love, you know, your loved ones, your day ones, and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just felt like I had to, you know, put that along with, you know, the hard bars and everything else. You know, just a bit of, you know, like eggs in every pot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I
definitely.
just wanted to.
It was a cool video too. You had the
Yeah.
fams there.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I
you
appreciate
had the
it, bro.
boys there and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Man,
that's
that's
cool
one
video.
thing
It
as
was really
well.
well edited as well. Like
Yeah,
Very
whoever
well.
edited,
my
edited
man.
that video.
yeah.
Fucking
My
sick.
So, and
guy
also that leads me
came
to another
through.
question. Like, how does the fam? Like, I know that your fam really supports what you
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Like, I feel like the support is, you know, unconditional with whatever's going on.
It is,
And I
man.
feel like whenever you drop something, they've all got your back, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So how do they feel about? Have you told them about, like, you know, how much music means to you and what you aim to achieve with this? Or they kind of just.
I think they know, like,
They know.
just from me always rapping around the house, bro.
Yeah.
Like I was always doing it. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't even embarrassed. Like I'd always just be rapping around the house.
What would you be rapping? You'd be freestyling, or would you
Just
be just
anything, bro. Like I'd be mostly rapping like Big
the
L
garlic
verses.
in the pan.
Garlic in the pan.
Get it out of my hand.
Nah, just like
cooking and shit.
just songs that I fuck with, you know, like artists that are, you know, really inspire me, or just even my own verses, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'd just be doing it. You know how people just sing around the
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
I'd be just
And that's from
rapping
Big
around the
Bros,
house.
Like
Yeah.
your brother's playing like that kind of hip hop around you.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly right. You know, my older brother definitely like helped shape
There you go.
my man.
Sickest.
What a guy. Anyways.
Look at himself.
That's pre-dread DeAndre. Pre-dready Kruger.
Pre-dready Kruger. But
But you should really take that. You have an alias, Dready Kruger.
yeah,
That's
that's
your trap
bro.
alias.
That was
Dready
always like always called myself that. Like when I first downloaded Snapchat back in I don't know how long, I made my name Dready Kruger because I tried to give myself dreads and it failed, bro. But Dready Kruger is just
I love that shit.
That's cool.
Dready Kruger.
That sounds
Dready
like a good
Gibbs.
track name, man.
That's cool,
Hey,
man.
could be, bro.
Could be, bro.
Could be.
Fuck. So
I want to talk to you about the recent, because like you're very based on community culture,
Yeah.
who you are. There's been a recent surge of the Polynesian hip hop community in Sydney,
Yeah,
or even
yeah,
Australia. Like they're getting more recognition now than they have, in my opinion,
100.
like in the last decade. So, what's your thoughts on that rise to prominence, and like how do you think you guys are going to be able to keep building and steam rolling that momentum going on forward?
I think, you know, like you said before, like it's grown so much, you know, from like the past decade, especially in the last 2-3 years, you know, with the whole new sound coming through. You know, shout out 1-4, man. They definitely broke the universal barrier for all of us. You know what I mean? Like Savage did it, you know, Scribe. I mean, there's plenty of other artists that I can't think of off the top, but
I think this
yeah,
wave
I
now,
think this wave now is definitely just because I feel like it's what we always have been, Sydney culture. You know, the whole active wear has always been a Sydney thing, but it was always frowned upon back then, you know what I mean? But now to see it so glamorized for the good and bad, you know what I mean? But just to see everyone going off that look of what we have been like for the past, I don't know, like past decade, like you said before, you know, is good. And to show people, you know, West Sydney, like especially like, you know, how people dress, how people talk, and you know, people actually fucking with it, like globally. It's crazy, you know. Or the US reacts of like the videos and shit.
Man.
Yeah, the UK ones too.
It's crazy.
And I feel that the Polynesian
crazy.
community in hip hop, the
Yeah,
hip hop
yeah.
Polynesian community, they really support each other.
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
that Facebook page, Poly Rappers.
Yeah, poly rappers.
Every time
But,
something drops there,
yeah.
everyone's supportive.
But
Everyone's like,
let me
views are so good.
hold you
Yeah.
there. Like as much as I fuck with the whole Polynesian community, like as a whole, you know, with the whole music thing, I still feel like we're a little bit ignorant. You know what I mean? To our own people as well, which is sad. But you know, there's ignorance everywhere.
I think
in the world.
when the wave is there, you're
Yeah,
gonna
exactly
get a few
right.
bad eggs. Then.
Yeah, of course. But you know, I feel like it's starting to ease up a little bit. You know, everyone's just back in the poly people just because they're trying to make something out of nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's
So
the biggest respect as well out of all
Yeah.
that. Like it's
Yeah.
people trying to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, man.
exactly
That's
right.
hip hop. That's the
The essence,
basics and the
yeah.
essence of hip hop.
Success in
hip hop.
At its
Yeah.
core,
That's
like
hip
make
hop.
something out of nothing, man.
Because I have
100%.
that. It's very interesting that you brought that up because I have this discussion with. Well, I'm gonna be very transparent with you. Have this discussion with Christian and Tim all the time, and we're like, man, like the poly movement is so strong.
It's
They're
so
coming out
inspiring,
with-
man.
Like they're
Yeah,
really
yeah.
paving the way.
Like us
And
pillows, man.
Like us fellows, like
I know
fuck
you're
it, man.
going
Because
with
we're
the
fucking
Philippines.
we're competitive, man.
yeah, man.
I'm not gonna
All
fucking
of those
lie to
are
you.
too.
Yeah,
All of
exactly.
those
And
are
like
too,
I'm just like kind of like, but it's changing now because like people like Eski, people like Eski. Shout outs to
Eski
Eski
Hustle,
and
man.
Ricky and all of them that are really like bringing it together and really embracing. They have been embracing their culture from day dot. Like Eski's done a lot for the
Yeah, yeah.
community, and for him like to stand forward and really put his hand up for being Filipino. Like I'm always gonna give him the most respect for that.
Yeah, man.
But I feel like that sets an example for us to really come together, not to just say that we're distinctively like above everybody else, but I feel like unity
Yeah,
in
man.
a sense.
Yeah.
Where we're from and who we are as people is very like it's still yet to be seen.
Yeah,
with,
man.
with
Because I've
our
seen so
community.
many Filipino rappers, hip hop artists
Yeah,
come through, come and go. Some have stayed.
yeah,
Like a lot has gone through, and I just
Definitely.
feel like they haven't got the recognition that they should be getting because they make good
100.
music too, man.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah, man.
bro. Yeah, yeah.
I could say something, but it could open a real can of worms.
Open the
about this
can of
topic.
worms,
I don't
man.
know if you want to save it.
Open
I'll
up,
open
bro.
the can of worms.
Fuck, you're already in. You're already
Push it
in
up,
now.
yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
it, bro.
Hit the same button.
Hey, no, this is actually really perfect. I'm so happy you brought this up, LO, because I wanted to speak about this like a full topic about this, but we can touch on it. I love how you brought up with Filipinos, particularly how it's sort of like I'm gonna blow up. I'm gonna say that Filipinos are quite talented. Like it's almost a stereotype. All Filipinos play guitar, they sing, they make music, they dance. Hip hop culture is so ingrained in Philippine society. But like what Raf just mentioned, then I was like, you know what, you're so right. Like Filipino artists will come and go. When you think of like heavy hitters, you only think of really like the guy from Black Eyed Peas.
Apple Diab.
Who else? And it's always someone that's associated. It's like, oh, Bruno Mars. Yeah, he's fucking.
We don't know.
but
We're
he's
just
hot.
claiming all
But,
the
like,
halfies
we'll be
as
like,
well,
nah,
man.
we'll take it. We claim it. We'll
That's
take it.
the
We'll take it. So this is the can of worms, all right? I'm just gonna try and do this quick because I know I ramble on about. But I really wanted to research this. I was like, what is going on? And I think this whole Black Lives Matter thing really opened the topic of race for me because when I see other cultures band together, I'm like, sometimes I think like, why don't Philos do that? And sometimes like this is gonna sound a bit controversial, maybe, but I sometimes think Philos only band when it's convenient.
Like buffet.
Let me explain. Let me
Alright.
explain though. Cause like, I'm just gonna say it, but there's a sort of a colonial mentality that's been ingrained from how we've, we kind of like, how do we identify? Like Philos always have that sort of identity crisis. Are we Asian? Are we black? Or are we Spanish? Like kind of thing. We're in that gray area, and like it's a whole history. Like you can go see it yourself. We've been colonized. We've faced imperialism when America took over. And I think with this whole thing, I've been looking back at our history, our past, like even down to our belief system that was passed on by Spain, and I don't think Philos, a lot of them, I didn't even know this, but like our real ancestors, we came from being like warriors or some shit. I don't look like a warrior at all, but like imagine if I'm fully tatted up.
You still want to look like a warrior
With a fucking spear. With a fucking spear. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Tribe name would be
I'm
Littlefoot,
just saying,
bro.
so like, just imagine me, little Filipinos with fucking spears and shit. Like we were the shit back then. But the thing I'm trying to say is like sometimes I think with Philos, it's almost like what's the word? It's like almost racist to our own kind sometimes because we do. There's a blur when it comes to joking about us. We can joke about us, like make jokes. We laugh about our own culture, comedians do that all the time. But when it comes down to it, sometimes like you can't deny that sometimes. Oh, how many times have you heard this? Oh, that guy is so philo. Oh, that's too philo.
Yeah.
See what I'm getting at? Do you see what I'm getting at? Like, what do you mean? What does that mean? And then there's a disconnect between actual Filipinos that grew up in Philippines, speak Tagalog. They go to, like, you know, they come to Canada, Australia, UK. They think we're stuck up, and we just think they're too philo. I'm just generalizing here.
I see that.
And I think there's more of a root to this. Like we were colonized for so long. It's like we've almost forgotten our identity. There's a few philos that really 100%. Like have embraced it now. Like there's Ruby Ibarra. I used to speak to her quite a bit before, and she was like since Asian Raps days, but she advocates for it. She was born. I think she moved when she was like a kid, so she's American. Like she speaks English, but she's taken the time to really learn the culture and actually incorporate Tagalog in her raps. And I think that disconnect is like that's what makes it a bit harder for us in that sense. Like you got K-pop, Jap, you got all these other, you know, cultures that can sort of, and with the Polynesians as well, like, you know, it's you've got so much culture ingrained in you in that sense. But with the Philippines, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like there's almost like that, where do we stand with this type thing? Because you can't deny the talent, but when it comes to being unified, sometimes we're not the best at it, man. Sometimes we almost
there's a lack of
self-sabotage
pride.
us. What do you guys think of that? I've been thinking about this a lot.
I mean, like you touched on a few things there. There's that first one of what is our identity, right? Like, because I was born in the Philippines, but I grew up here in Australia. But I identify with myself I identify myself to be more Australian than I am Filipino. You know, because when I go back to the Philippines, I'm Australian. I'm a foreigner.
Okay.
You know, but when I come, you know, when I'm here, I feel more Australian. I mean, sometimes people may not see me as Australian, but that's how I feel because that's all I know.
Okay.
You know, and so there's that. There's that identity of second generation migrants or immigrants who come here to Australia, and all they know is Australia. All they know is where they grew up.
Of course.
And then we're
all that. Yeah, definitely.
Like the only Filipino culture that I knew of was through my family. I'm very blessed to have, you know, a large family, and we still uphold some of those traditions. But for me to get that authentic Filipino experience, I need to go back to the Philippines, and I have been, you know, a few times. And it might be the same with you, DeAndre. Like, you have to go back to your motherland to
see
you
where
know what I mean? Because I love that there are some people here. There's some organizations that are trying to bring Filipino food and Filipino culture to Australia, right? There's I know that there is an organization, Filipino Food Australia, where they try to bring that culture, and they prior to COVID-19 they're running classes of teaching people how to cook Filipino food.
Awesome.
And that's that stuff that like I think it's the other point you were making was like whether or not we support each other. You know, and I think
that's the main point. Yeah.
And I think we do as Filipinos, but then yes, there's a point where like, oh, maybe I don't want to be too Filipino, but then I think the point is like we just have to get behind each other. We have to support each other.
100.
Because
I think that's a given, man. Like we are trying to support each other, but I think that the difference is with a lot of these people, it's like other cultures. There's still that. Like I haven't been to the Philippines in so long, man. I've only recently just really, because of the whole Black Lives Matter movement, I've been seeing articles of like, you know, this stuff isn't just America, dude. We've been like, you go to the Philippines, what are the things that we're originally pretty much black, like from what I've researched. I don't know how much black, but we are pretty much. It's just from all the, you know, the colonization, imperialism. But we've been sort of almost changed to what are the things that your parents did when you grew up? This for me, right? I don't know if it happened to you. Don't go in the sun because you'll get darker.
Oh, red stuff. Like
that was one point. Yeah. Another one like that. Your nose. Every night, my mom would squeeze my nose to make it pointier because that's perceived of what's beauty, white skin and beauty.
Don't worry, man. You're still beautiful.
I can go about with that. That's all right, man. I know I'm beautiful. I don't do this no more. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but like,
man, that was a tank of worms. Bro.
That was a tank of worms.
Yeah.
I think we should touch on it in a separate episode because I
Definitely.
think we could
I'd
really
love to bring
untangle.
my partner, my girlfriend Jasmine, down for a conversation.
Yeah,
like this.
and we should.
Esky, I mean,
I think
she's-
it's a
bring an
topic that we
expert.
should put on
like
hold.
there's so many avenues you could go with this, because it is ingrained in our culture. Like, we're so easy to claim someone like Bruno Mars, who might be half, and I'm not saying you shouldn't support him, but we gravitate to like, oh yeah, like how many times have you brought like a girl home and it's like, oh yeah, this is my son's girlfriend, and if they're half, it's like, woo, it's a type thing, you know. Or you bring someone of another culture, it's almost like a wow. We're actually opposite. Other Asian cultures like to like, oh no, marry a Korean girl, or you know, oh no, you have to marry Japanese.
They sound the same too. Well,
But yeah, I think yeah.
You know what I fucking mean. Anyway, like, sorry, I told you.
It's interesting to hear, man.
Like people need to have more conversations like
Exactly.
This is the conversations that we need, and,
Yeah,
and
bro,
we
so
have this
definitely.
conversation because we're.
It's the conversation we need. I'm saying, like, Philippines, and I think like it goes down because I respect the movement so much. Like Elo, he really brings up the rappers there, especially if we're talking about Filipinos as well. There's one thing, there's the culture, the hip hop culture, but if we're actually really gonna push Filipinos, you gotta sort of know where you're from. I was born in Australia, man. I don't know shit. I've been ignorant for so long, and I feel bad. And sometimes I feel it now. Sometimes I'll feel that sort of self-racism. I'll see like, oh, this guy's so filler, bro. And you make fun of the accents, and then like, you know, shit like that you shouldn't do. And it's just, I don't know. It's really been bothering
That's
me.
a
like,
bucket of
lately,
worms,
so.
bro. That wasn't a can,
Anyway,
man.
That was a big,
lot.
To summarize,
Sorry. Let me close the can.
Summarize
Close the
that,
can.
Don.
to
Summarize.
summarize.
Let's stop the worm. Stop the worms.
And another thing.
I told you, man.
And another thing.
But like, yeah,
That's why I was like, warning. Worms
comes
are
down to-
coming out. Are
to
you sure you want me to
community.
say
It comes
that?
down to like coming together as a community, regardless of what ethnicity you are, which country you come from. Like Elo's doing that with all of the rappers here. Like, it's not just Filipinos. It's building that community, and as Filipinos, as Asians, as Islanders, whichever, like, we have to come together and support each other. That's
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah, man.
I know.
Bigger
Definitely,
causes as
bro.
well,
I'm
like
saying.
Western
I was
Sydney,
just
we're trying
sort
to
of
bring it
the-
up,
the-
man.
Yeah, of
Western
course.
Sydney's looking strong.
I'm just saying because you guys brought up the whole Polynesian movement, how big it is. It sort of makes you think, where's ours?
man.
You know,
But-
where's the Filipinos? I'm not saying disregard
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the other
No,
ones.
of course not.
You're always gonna have people of color. Like, it sort of goes into different groups, and it just goes smaller and smaller. But if you try and niche it down, it's like, where's our movement? Yeah, the Polynesians have a massive movement. The African Americans have a massive movement, and we're part of that whole movement as well. But when we really try and sort of look at ourselves, like really put the microscope, it's like, why don't we have that? We know we have the talent. Fucking, why do all these Filipino rappers in Sydney? Why are they so ignored? Like, there's. Like,
I don't know the answer,
fucking-
Sway.
Like, some of the.
Alright, I just want to make I want to make a quick call
I
out
don't
to
want
anyone
the
who wants
answers.
to join this conversation. 'Cause we're gonna definitely have this conversation down the
Yeah,
track.
definitely,
So
down
if there's
the
anyone
track.
who wants to join this conversation,
Yeah.
whether you want
No, it's
to
big,
have your
that's-
thing and then come to the podcast and
massive.
express your perspective on
putting a stamp
the rising and the joining of the Filipino
Come
culture.
join
Let's
us.
do it, man. Just hit up at DMs and then let's go from
Definitely.
there.
All right.
to all the Filipinos out there, make sure that you watch the Netflix special of Joe Coy in his elements. Or in his element on Netflix. It's just got released recently. It touches on like the fact that he, as a Filipino American, goes back to the Philippines and brings a bunch of his mates. Like, it's exactly that thing. Like,
Yep.
bringing up the culture, bringing up the talent with you.
Cool.
But yeah.
Exactly. You know what? Sorry, I feel really bad. I didn't mean
No,
to.
no,
Yeah,
no,
you
it's
did.
good.
Yeah, you
It's
did.
good.
It's fine.
It's
It's
good.
good.
It's a
Subject
natural
from the Andre, but no.
conversation. So good.
I want to come full circle. I want to come full circle real quick. I want to come full circle.
Here comes
'cause there
the
was a
other
point.
bucket.
I was supposed to go around and get to this point back to DeAndre. Do you agree, bro? Because like with the Polynesians, you did mention that there might be some ignorance in that sense. But also because it's so close to home, like sometimes you just identify like, no, I'm New Zealander. Like I'm Polynesian. This is me. These are our cultures. These things we do. Like, after hearing what I just said about Philippines, is it the same as you? Do you guys sort of almost not mock, but like, look down a bit on the ones that are less?
you know, like you always have
Polynesian
those
or
peoples
whatnot?
in any type of culture, really. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, me myself, like I'm not very too familiar with my culture. Like I know, you know, a bit of basics. You know, I wish I could speak the spoken language, but you know, I can't. And you know, people will frown upon that. You know, especially when I was growing up, like, you know, it was like, oh, that's the kid that can't speak Samoan, you know. But like, you know, like being raised around islanders, like they helped me. I like my boys, like, you know, going to their families and they took me in, and you know, they'd speak to me in Samoan. You just pick up in it, you know. I pick up on it, sorry. But yeah, that's like dope, I understand the basics, and like, you know, your well manners, you know, like just the respect of the whole thing, you know what I mean? But yeah, I understand where you're coming from 100%, bro. Like, you know, but it is what it is, man. We like, at the end of the day, it's all about pushing for your culture, not pushing against it, you know what I mean? 100%. Always got to back your people, regardless. So
I think that's what like you're doing, especially for Ingleburn and
you
know, where you're from and your community of people. So what's coming up, man? Besides, like, so we got the 316 video. You've got a project behind it.
So I've got so the whole, like what you just explained, the 316 drop as well as the video. I've got another single dropping after that. And then hopefully should have all the pieces together to drop the full tape.
You got a rollout.
And
316 titled for your single is basically along the lines of a Stone Cold sort of.
Okay. So it's pretty much just an ode to wrestling. Well, for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just about Stone Cold.
Yeah.
It's just about like stunning everyone. You know what I mean?
The same mentality, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Stunner whoever you see, man.
Stunner anyone. But yeah, like, I mean, it just it has a lot of other wrestlers that, you know, I hold close to my heart. Like it got punchlines with like 6'1", Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero. I even got John Cena in there.
Man. If we can pull off the concept that we have in mind for the music video, it's gonna be fucking lit. It's gonna
crazy,
be
man. That's crazy.
We got some ideas, bro.
Because like I feel like this is one of the projects that I'm really gonna be super passionate about, because I love wrestling. You love wrestling.
Exactly.
Songs about wrestling.
It's only right, bro.
Let's only right. Let's just stunner some motherfuckers.
Exactly right.
It's gonna be so good, man. I'm really excited to film it, man. It's gonna be fucking hectic.
It's gonna be sick, bro. I can't wait.
Nice. I think one thing that we always do on the podcast is like we always ask artists their opinions about their experience and what they could share with other people. Right? Like what would you say is the, like, a piece of advice that you would give other people that, you know, looking to pursue the same career?
This may sound cliche but it's as real as it gets. You know, just stay real, man. Like, there's no point trying to front something and then not being about it, because eventually, you know, if you're gonna channel your energy into something that you're not, it's gonna come around and bite you, bro. You know, what happened to 6ix9ine? You claimed that he wasn't even a gangster, and then he got fucked up, bro. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just be real to yourself, you know. It's all I can say.
I just want to like elaborate on that just a little bit more. Like, obviously, like the more that you embrace who you are through your music and through your art, the more you really come out as who you really are as a person, the more opportunities for you to progress, because you're like you said before, you're not putting on a fucking front. You know, you're not like trying to put on like a little hat and just try and be somebody that you're not. And what he's trying to say is just like, you know, the more you are who you are, the more DeAndre is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It seems to be a running theme throughout the our interview and our conversation today. Like self-awareness, we're being self-aware of like our situation at hand. And then you had that Benny situation, and then you realize, you know, this doesn't seem right for me at this time. You moved on, and that is a very mature move. And then you also had the situation where you felt the culture coming out in the scene with the Polynesian rap community just building, and then that shows a lot of self-awareness of who you are in the culture aspect, and you giving the advice of being authentic, realizing who you are, putting it onto your art, and that will just be more beneficial for you in the future. So the moral of the whole interview that we had is just be more self-aware of who you
Exactly.
are, embrace it, because
Exactly.
that is the
Yeah.
the main thing that you should be focusing on.
Don't
is
forget the
who you
bars,
are.
yo.
Don't forget the fucking bars,
Fucking
too,
bars,
bro.
yo.
You gotta,
You gotta listen to DeAndre
play,
shit. You
bro.
gotta listen to that shit 2 or 3 times. You get all
Yeah,
that
man.
shit.
Yeah.
Get the fucking
Lyrical,
bars.
lyrical.
Yeah, that's what I realized
Lyrical,
editing his video over and over again.
Right, you
hearing
gotta
the song,
listen.
I'm like, hey, I didn't hear that bar. I was like,
I just
shit.
hope people catch on to that
Catching
shit
more-
because,
catching
like,
bars.
yeah, it's not just a dude rapping like real technical. There's a lot of shit that he's.
Layers,
I
man.
don't know, I don't want. I'm biased as
Appreciate
fuck,
you.
man.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
biased
yeah,
as
yeah.
fuck.
Just gotta
but-
listen to it. Just gotta listen.
Yeah,
to it.
man. It's all about listening, bro.
That's
I
it.
mean, you can bob your head to it, but there's always deeper meanings.
I
along the
can't wait
line.
to hear the more introspective type of rap that you
100.
got coming.
Yeah, appreciate
Because
it, bro.
I really want to get your story into your art and just hear it, and just because like the way you deliver, it's really, it has a presence. Adding a story
Cheers, bro.
layer to it, more layers, and that's gonna just
100%.
kill the
Image, it's
game, bro.
imagery,
Appreciate
bro.
you,
He's
man.
painting the
Appreciate
scene
you.
Yeah,
from
man.
every detail.
English class really
I
paid
tried.
off.
Hey, man.
Shit,
English,
paid off,
bro.
man.
Shout out my English teachers, bro.
Hey, 2 unit.
Did that like you? Did that like you? Your English teachers?
Ah, nah. I ain't saying names,
No
bro.
comment.
No comment. No comment.
Whereabouts can people find you on the socials?
They can find me on Instagram. Facebook.
DXVNDRE.
DXVNDRE, exactly.
We'll leave it on the
Exactly.
the caption
Put in
for
the
sure.
show notes. Yeah.
But yeah, it's spelled DXVNDRE.
Yeah.
Can we play a track?
Yeah, bro. Play tracks.
What track can we play? Like, name a song.
let's play Lord Forgive Me, bro.
Hey. Play the video, damn it.
Nice.
Let's play Lord Forgive Me.
Because
Play
he did the
video.
video.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let's play the
Shout
video.
out to
video, man.
bro for the video, man.
Such a
That
good
was-
video, man.
It's fucking good
Bro,
video.
it's a fucking epic video, man.
Everything went to plan that day as well. Like
On
it
some
was.
parts.
It-
We're like in the forest, and then we couldn't find reception to
Oh
play the
yeah,
song.
and mind you, it was so fucking hot that day, bro.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it, but
Well, you
man.
rocked up as well for a hot day, man. You
Oh,
got
yeah.
the, you got
I
the
had
hoodie
to,
pack
bro.
hoodies.
Yeah, I was sweating, man. It's fucking.